Lilli Rayne lived in a city that had forgotten how to look up. People moved through the streets with their eyes fixed on schedules, bills, and bad news glowing from tiny screens. Everyone seemed to be carrying something heavy: grief, pressure, disappointment, fear. Even standing shoulder to shoulder, they felt miles apart from one another. Lily used to live that way too. For years, she moved through life like someone trying to outrun a storm that never stopped following her. She smiled when she needed to, worked when she had to, and buried the parts of herself that still wanted more from life. Somewhere along the way, she stopped feeling connected to anything real. Then, one winter night, the city went dark. A power outage swept through every building downtown. Elevators stalled, storefront signs flickered out. The endless hum of the city disappeared almost all at once. Unable to sleep, Lily climbed to the roof of her apartment building. And there, for the first time in years, she saw the sky. Not just a few scattered stars, but thousands of them. Bright, endless, quiet. She stood there in the cold for hours, breathing in the silence. Something inside her softened. It felt like waking up after a long sleep she hadn't realized she was in. No voice spoke to her. No grand revelation arrived. Just a simple understanding. Life wasn't meant to be survived with clenched fists. It was meant to be lived awake. After that night, things slowly began to change. Not outwardly at first. She still worked long shifts at the cafe near the train station. She still worried about money. Life didn't suddenly become easy. But she became lighter somehow. She started noticing little things again, the sound of rain tapping against windows, the way strangers smiled when they thought no one was looking, the warmth of morning sunlight on concrete. Even pain felt different. Not smaller, just part of the journey instead of proof that the journey was wrong. Then the music came. At first it was humming while she cleaned up after closing. Then melodies, lyrics scribbled on napkins. Songs that seemed to rise out of places inside her she thought had gone quiet years ago. Before long, people started inviting her to perform. Small bars, street festivals, crowded little cafes filled with tired people looking for a moment of relief from their lives. And people loved her music. They swayed to it, sang along to it, some even cried while listening. But most of them missed the deeper meaning hidden beneath the songs. Lily wasn't really singing about heartbreak or wandering or hope not entirely. She was singing about remembering who you are underneath all the noise. About the light people bury beneath stress, fear, and survival. Still, once the music ended, people usually drifted back into their routines, back into the weight of everyday life. At first, that hurt her. She tried explaining herself more directly between songs. "You're more than what's happened to you," she told one audience softly. Another night, she said, "Your spirit knows the way, even when your mind is lost." A few people listened. Most nodded politely before ordering another drink or checking their phones. Lily eventually realized it wasn't that people didn't care. They were exhausted. The world had worn them down so much that they could barely hear themselves think, let alone hear something deeper calling to them. For a while, she wondered if what she was doing even mattered. Then one evening, after a small performance in a subway tunnel, an older man approached her while she packed up her guitar. "I finally understood one of your songs," he said. Lily smiled gently. "Which one?" "The one about the road." She looked surprised because she barely played that song anymore. The man laughed softly. "The first time I heard it, I just liked the melody. But one line stayed with me for months." He paused before repeating it back to her. "The road is not trying to break you." Lily felt her chest tighten. The man explained that he'd been struggling through one of the hardest years of his life. He started repeating that lyric to himself every morning on the way to work. Slowly, things began to shift. He reconnected with his daughter, started painting again after decades, began feeling present in his own life instead of trapped inside it. "You reminded me I was still here," he told her. That night, Lily walked home beneath the city lights with tears in her eyes. She finally understood something important. Light doesn't force itself on people. It simply stays lit long enough for someone to find it when they're ready. After that, She stopped trying so hard to make people understand her message immediately. She stopped measuring success by applause or recognition or visible change. She just kept going. There were still difficult days, still criticism, still people who called her unrealistic for believing life held beauty beneath all its pain. But Lilli no longer let the noise around her decide who she was. She trusted the quiet voice inside instead. And whenever fear or sadness returned, and sometimes it did, she treated it like weather passing through. Temporary, human, nothing to be ashamed of. Years passed. Some nights she played for packed rooms. Other nights for only a bartender and two strangers sitting near the back. It didn't matter anymore. She sang the same way every time, fully, honestly. Because she had learned something the world often forgets. Life is not a race to some perfect destination. It's a long road filled with loss, beauty, confusion, connection, and becoming. And the people who keep their spirit alive while walking it, that's where the real light is found. Most people still heard only the music, but every now and then, someone in the crowd would suddenly go still, as if, for a brief moment, they remembered something sacred they had almost lost. For Lilli Rayne, that was enough.